Hari Om. Today's our topic is Unit 2.2 Yoga in Upanishads, and myself Smita Kulkarni. Hari Om. Today we are going to discuss about, in short, we are going to discuss about the Yoga in Upanishad. Only the Yoga concept given in this Upanishads, that is a Prashna Upanishada, Katha Upanishad and Taittiriya Upanishad, and Ananda mimamsa as a part of Taittiriya Upanishad. So before starting that main Upanishads, let's go with a brief introduction about this Upanishad. Upanishad is a part of the Veda. Vedas consist of is considered as the oldest scriptural text or fundamental or the basic text of the Hinduism. The term Veda is derived from the root Veda, which means to know, wisdom or vision. Veda contains the spiritual knowledge and forms the highest religious authority for all aspects of the Hinduism. The law of Veda have regulated the social, legal, domestic and religious customs of the Hindus. Vedas are also called as a Shruti or Apaurushiya, that means no human origin. There are 4 Vedas: Rig Veda, Yajur Veda, Sama Veda and Atharva Veda. Each of the Veda are again subdivided into the 4 parts, that is a Samhita, it's collection of the rams called as a mantras, Brahmanya, rituals, ceremonies, how to perform all these things. Aranyaka is the theologies, discussion about these rituals and ceremonies, how to perform, what is the importance and all these things. And Upanishad is a philosophies, that is a spiritual knowledge, basic knowledge given in this Upanishad part. Upanishad forms the concluding portion of the Vedas and is therefore called as a Vedanta, the end of Vedas. Upanishad contains the essence of the Vedic knowledge. Upanishad deals with purely with the supreme spiritual knowledge, meant for the complete liberation of the soul, and also called as a Brahma Vidya. These are the essence. So the name itself gives that Upanishad means the person, the devotee has to be seated near, devotedly he has to sit with the Guru, and Guru is going to teach him the right path. Upanishad talks about the Brahman, Atman, Prakriti, creation, death, moksha, ultimate goal of the human life and all these things. There are more than 200 Upanishads are mentioned everywhere. But one of the Upanishad is the Muktika Upanishad, has listed out the names of the 108 Upanishads as the main Upanishads. Among these 8 Upanishads, on the 10 Upanishads, Adi Shankaracharya has wrote the commentary, and so they are called as a Mukhya Upanishad or the primary Upanishad. These are the Isha, Kena, Katha, Prashna, Mundaka, Mandukya, Aitariya, Taittiriya, Chandogya and Bruhadaranyaka. And from these 10 Upanishads, one of the Upanishads is a Prashna Upanishad. Now we are going to discuss about the yoga related concept which we can found in a Prashna Upanishad, not a total Prashna Upanishad. Just brief introduction. Prashna Upanishad is the part of the Atharva Veda and the Pippalada Shakha, Pippalada part. Prashna means a question. This Upanishad is in the form of the series of dialogues between the Guru Pippalada and his 6 disciples. So each one question and answer is the one chapter of the Upanishad. The first concept which we are going to discuss is the Prana and Rai. And there is a role, Prana and Rai's role in the creations. This is the references to the first question asked by the disciple about the creation of the universe. Pippalada says that in the form of the stories, all the Upanishads are in the form of the stories, very nice stories are given over there. And the Pippalada explained about that the Prajapati is the creator, and he created the Prana and Rai. Prana is a energy, sun, and the subtle one, and the rai is a matter or a moon and the gross. With the combination of these two, prana and rai, the whole universe is created by the Prajapati. Actually, there are no two different separate identities of prana and rai, but it is like a two sides of one coin. It is just like the two ways to seeing the world. Upanishad itself says that one can see the entire universe as a rai, its gross form, but one can see the whole universe as a manifestation of the prana, its subtle form. To look at this subtle form or to experience that whole the universe is just a manifestation of the prana, the one needs a high intellect, and that's why it's called as a prana vidya. To knowing that this universe which is created by Prajapati is just a form of prana. The essence is the prana is the only thing which is there, and it is the manifestation of the prana is in the form of the rai we can experience this as a complete world. This is called as a prana vidya. The Prashnopanishad deals with the concept of the prana, importance of the prana, number of prana, and all these things. Pipalada says that prana is the main deity or the force which makes the body function. Prana takes the care of the body as the mother takes the care of the child. Pipalada says that prana is born out of the self or Atman. It enters into the body because of the action of the mind, the past karmas and action on all these things. The main prana is the only one, but it acts differently in the human body, so it is called as a pancha prana. Let's see what are the functions and pancha pranas explained by the Prashna Upanishad. Pipalada says that there is a mukhya prana issues out of the nose and the mouth and resides in the eyes and ears. Apana resides in the lower aperture, reproductive and excretory organs. Samana resides in between the prana and apana, assimilation and distribution, all that we eaten and drunk. It resides in the navel region. Vyana resides in the heart and moves throughout the bodies with the nadis, through the nadis. Nadis are the channels through which the prana flows, that called as the nadis. And udana has given a very importance over here, and udana is mainly takes away the jivatma, that is the atma, to the punya loka, to the heaven, if the person has done the good action, and to the papa loka, to the hell, if he is done as a bad action, and brings back to the earth if he has done the big mixture of good and bad karmas. So this udana energy, it takes away the sukshma, it carries the sukshma sharira when there is a death of the human body, and it carries the sukshma sharira, and it makes them where the rebirth will be there, and all these things will be decided by the udana. So udana has given a very importance over there. These are the internal manifestation. What are the external manifestation? The prana is said as a sun, the swarupa, it is given as a sun. Apana is a earth, downward direction, it goes to the downward direction. Samana is a agni, or a fire, which transforms, the agni which transforms. The vayu which carries everything, which pervades everything. And udana is a light, it moves upward in a upward direction. This is all about the pancha prana. So again there was a question about the meditation, on the meditation of the Om, and the disciple asking the Pipalada what are the benefits of the meditation, and how to meditate on the Om, and what are the benefits, and all these things. Again, in the different forms of the stories, Pipalada answered that one who meditates on the Akara attains the human birth. Who meditates on the Ukara attains the Somaloka, that is a heaven, we can say. And one who meditates on the Omkara, he can as a whole, he can get the enlightenment. He can experience the Ishvara. Ishwar is a gross form of Brahman. We can say a little bit lower form of the Brahman. And but one who meditates on the Om as a whole, beyond the Om, and he goes beyond the Trigunas. He can experience the Turiya. Once he starts meditating on Ardha Matra, that is beyond the Om, there is a Ardha Matra, and if person starts meditating on Ardha Matra, he can experience the Trigunavastha, Paritrigunavastha, Turiya form. These are the forms explain the experiences of the moksha can be attained from the meditating on the Om. We can go beyond the consciousness experience, that the phases of the consciousness experience, that awakened state, dreaming state, deep dreaming state. Beyond that is a transcendental state that can be experienced with the Omkara chanting. So we can say that it is given that a Sthula Brahma and Sukshma Brahma. On the meditating on the Omkara, one can experience the Sthula Brahma, that is the Ishvara, and Sukshma Brahma, that is a Parabrahma or higher consciousness. This is about the Prashna Upanishad. Next one is a Katha Upanishad, which is a more popular one. And this Upanishad is a part of the Krishna Yajurveda and is most popular Upanishad. This Upanishad has a very beautiful flow of the story of a small boy of Nachiketa. Mainly the dialogue between the Nachiketa and Yama, the god of death, is the main core of this Upanishad. Nachiketa is a Shishya and Yama is a Guru, and Nachiketa learns the secrets of death from the Yama. The story is about the Nachiketa. Nachiketa's father, Vajashrava, or also called as a Udalaka, is conducting a yajna called as a Vishwajit yajna. And in that yajna, he has to sacrifice all that he possesses. And the very good thing to sacrifice is the cows. Nachiketa noticed that his father is not doing his job sincerely. He is giving away all that cows which are sick, too old, no longer going to give a milk and all these things. Vajasrava is not giving the best what he possesses. Nachiketa realized that by doing such things, his father will not get the benefits of that yajna, but it might give some negative impacts or repercussions. Nachiketa starts thinking, how to save my father. The idea strikes him. Nachiketa, as a son of Vajashrava, is in the most important and valuable for his father. So he starts thinking, if my father gives me to somebody, then my father will definitely get the best result of this yajna. So Nachiketa went to the father and he asked him, to whom will you give me? Father does not reply. He might have ignored it, might be angry. Nachiketa asked him again and again about, to whom will you give me? Vajashrava became angry and says that I will give you to death. Just we say go to hell, like that. He said, I will give you to death. Nachiketa take it seriously. Then Nachiketa goes to the domain of the Lord of Death, that is the Yamaloka. Unfortunately, Yama is not in the house and Nachiketa has to wait outside for the 3 days. Then when Yama returns, come to know that the guest is waiting for him for the 3 days without food and water. Atithi Devo Bhava. So he offers 3 booms as a compensation for having to wait. Nachiketa asks the firstborn, when I go back, my father should not be angry with me. Yama grants it. He says, okay, go back and have a very fine relationship with your father and enjoy it. In the second boon, Nachiketa asks Yama about the Agni Vidya. What is the Agni? What is the Agni sacrifice? That Agni sacrifice takes the person to the performer to the heaven. So what is the Agni Vidya? And Yama explains about that Agni Vidya, to what is the knowledge of the Agni, to perform all the duties perfectly to the Guru, towards the father and mother, towards the society. So that will be the path towards the Agni Vidya. And he has given one concept about the Agni Vidya is that main Agni is as a Brahman, and the part of that Agni, a small Agni we can call it as it is a Atman. So to know your Atma to the Agni and merge it towards the Brahman, that will be Agni Vidya. So that Agni Vidya concept is explained very nicely with Yama, and even he offers that now henceforth this Agni Vidya, that rituals which are performed as Agni Vidya, Agni rituals will be called as a Nachiketa Agni. That name is given to the Nachiketa Agni and all. The third bone, which is very important one, and Nachiketa asks that what happens to man after the death? Does he exist or not exist? Now the Yama realized the importance and or the value of this question. So he wants to check whether the Nachiketa is eligible to know this secret, because this question is very important one. What happens after death? What is a mrityu? So he starts discouraging the Nachiketa, saying that even the God doesn't know about this. So don't ask me such questions. So this is a so secret question. So Yama again offers him all kinds of the worldly and heavenly enjoyment in discharge, in exchange of this question. But the Nachiketa was very firm and replied that I want to know that that secret. If this secret is so important, even the God doesn't know that. I want to know that only. And you are the right person. As a death of the God, you are the right person to talk about the moksha or mrityu. So you have to tell me about it. And he again firmly said that the things which you are offering me, the worldly and heavenly pleasures which you are trying to offer me, are not permanent one. I want something to know which is permanent one. Actually, Nachiketa was not rude. Nachiketa is very firm, clear about his idea. He has a respect towards the Yama, and he has a faith and confidence that only Yama can tell him about the truth, the reality of life, what is a mrityu and what is a moksha. He can tell him. So he, with his dedication, he urged him that I want to know only that things. Then Yama come to know that this is a eligible person, this is a perfect one, so I can explain him the things. And while answering this question, Yama explained about the yoga and philosophical terms of the yoga to the Nachiketa. And here we get the mainly the definitions of the yoga with these discussions. So we get the first definition is that is called as a Adhyatma Yoga. अध्यात्म योग अधिगमेन देवं मत्वा धीर हर्ष शोक जायति. Self, by meditating on the mind and the self, meditating on the deity residing there, the intellect man gives up the both joy and suffering. That is a equality, this perfect equilibrium. If you want to free from the pains and sorrow, you have to let go the pleasure also, because pleasure and pain are the two sides of one coin. So meditation is the one of the way. Meditation is the key. With the meditation you can go beyond it, beyond the happiness and beyond the sorrow. That is called as a Adhyatma Yoga. This is the first definition we can see from the Katha Upanishad. The second definition, which is more popular one, that is tam yogamiti manyate sthira indriya dharanam, means that yoga is that will be the yoga when the sense organs and the mind are steadily restrained, controlling or having the mastery over the senses, control over the mind, and attaining the realization of the self. And Yama explained the relationship between the self and the body mind complex by the explaining of the chariot, analogy of the chariot. Imagine a chariot. Self, Atman, is the master of the chariot. Human body is a chariot and the intellect is a charioteer. Mind is a bridle or the rein or rope holding the horses. Sense organs are the horses and the road are the object of the sense organs. Now the intellect, that is the charioteer, should have a proper control over the bridle and the horses, so the chariot will move smoothly on the road. So the self control is a very important to reach to the right place, to achieve the goal. The real goal is to reach towards the Vishnu pada, that is to attain the moksha. So it starts with the controlling of the senses, and that is called as a sthira indriya dharanam. That is the definition is started, definition given for the sensory indriyas, that is the sense organs, has the should be under control of the mind. Mind should be under control of the buddhi, and buddhi should be under control of the atman. That controlling, the restraining, is called as a sthira indriya dharanam, and that is a most popular definition we can see from the Katha Upanishad. Next topic we can see that the nature of the soul. It is explained by the Yama. It is explained in a very beautifully in a different with the different examples, and the stories and all these things are given over there. But the main content about it is that the Atman or the soul is neither born nor it dies. It does not originate from anything. Nothing can be originated from it. Means everywhere self is existing. So nothing different from the self is originated by the self. The self is eternal, everlasting, unborn. It does not kill nor is guilt. It is subtle than the subtle and greater than the great. Sukshmati sukshma and mahati mahatatan. It does not dies with the when the body dies. When the body dies, it is called as a mrityu. But mrityu doesn't mean that Atma is dead. Atma goes on again and again for the rebirth. And when the Atman is merged with the Paramatman, it is called as a moksha. All these states are explained by this. To attain this self-realization, what is the importance? Why we have to go for the know about the nature of the soul? What is important? Why it is important to do this? For this concept, the Shreyasa and Preyasa, these two important concepts are explained. One has to choose the path of the Shreyas, which is a good to experience the real happiness. And if we choose the path of the prayers regularly, what the worldly pleasures, you will miss the real goal of the life and will move round and round in the vicious cycle of the death and rebirth. So, to break this cycle from prayasa, we have to move towards the shreyasa. To experience this from shreyasa to prayas, how do we have to go for this journey? What is the means for that? And for that, it is given that meditation is the one of the very important way. Meditation on the Omkara and following the Yoga Vidya, Yoga Vidhi are helpful to take the path from Preyasa to Shreyasa. We can break that cycle and we can attain the moksha. These are the few topics and very important topics explained in the Katha Upanishad. Next one is a Taittiriya Upanishad. Taittiriya Upanishad is a part of the Krishna Yajurveda and has 3 chapters. The nature of the Upanishad is a discussion between the Varuna, who is a father and a guru also, and the Bhrigu, who is a son or the Shishya. There are 3 chapters: Shikshavalli, Brahmanandavalli, and Bhruguvalli. The main topic of the discussion which we can collect from the Taittiriya Upanishad related with yoga are the Panchakosha and Ananda mimamsa. Let's go a short view about it. The first chapter called as a Shikshavalli and teaching about the 6 Vedangas: Shiksha, Vyakarana, Kalpa, Jyotisha, Nirukta, and Chanda. These all are the sciences which help us to interpret and understand the Vedas very better. The science of the pronunciation, because Vedas has to be chanted in a perfect way, the Vedic chantings, as well as the Varuna teaches here the students about the ethical duties of all the human beings. Varuna also tells them the Satyam Vada Dharma Charanam, means to speak truth, follow the dharma, right path, and all these things. So ethical things, or the what we can call as a dharma, is regulation of the dharmas and how to follow the rituals, and all these things are explained in the Shikshavalli. That is the first part about it. Next one was a Brahmanandavalli, and Bhrigu explains about what is the ultimate reality of the Brahman. Brahma apnoti param. Brahma is the highest one, that is the final one. How is the Brahman? Satya Jnana Anandam Brahman. Brahma is a true knowledge and infinity. These are the characteristics of the Brahman. What is a Brahma? The Brahma is a subtle one, and to know and understand it or experience a Brahman, we have to go step by step from gross to subtle one. So first one, we have to go for the subtle experience, gross subtle experiences to understand it very properly, how it works, what it is, and from that, with the tapascharya, we can go to the subtle part of it. So, explaining this journey, this Panchakosha is explained, gross to understanding or experiencing from the gross to subtle level. So, Taittiriya Upanishad says that human personality is made up of the 5 sheets. They are called as a Panchakosha. That is why it is called as a Panchakosha Viveka. Viveka is a specific knowledge to understand, to get known. So first sheet is a Annamaya Kosha, food sheet. The material body called it as a Sthula Sharira, made up of the Pancha Mahabhutas, 5 elements, nourished by the foods. This is a gross body, we can experience it. Next one was a Pranamaya Kosha, vital sheet, more fundamental and subtle. Prana makes the physical body work or function. It constituted by the 5 types of the prana. Actually, not a 5 types of prana. Prana is only one thing, and it works in a different way, so it is called as a 5 pranas. 5 upapranas are also there. All the channels of that pranic flow is called as a nadis. The central part is called as a chakras. So all this consists in the pranamaya kosha. Third one is a manomaya kosha, the mental sheet. The subtle sheet, which consists of the jnanendriyas and manasa, the touch, smell, taste, sight, and hearing. So all the, we can call it as a cognitive faculty by which we can collect the information, all our experiences, everything comes under the manomaya kosha. The next one is a vijnanamaya kosha, the doership experiences. The ego is there. The decision making, the related with the intellect or buddhi. Vijnana is a superior than the regular decisions what we make for the regular day-to-day work. This is the kind of knowledge which can discriminate between the real and unreal. What is a shreyas and what is a preyas? That discriminating power, that that knowledge is called as a Vijnanamaya Kosha, that experiences. What we can discriminate between the two things, that power is called as a Vijnanamaya experiences. Last one is a Anandamaya Kosha. The Ananda is a experience in the phase of Samadhi, that the bliss experience which cannot be described in the world. But the Anandamaya Kosha is not a Atman, but it is the closest state to the Atman. Bliss is an experience beyond the Ananda or happiness feeling. Ananda and happiness feelings are the stages which can be experienced. Anandamaya Kosha is the experience, is a bliss experience beyond the happiness state. So, to know this Panchakosha and Ananda Mimamsa goes step by step together. To know this, evaluation of the Anandas, different levels of Anandas which can be experienced starting from the human bliss ending to the Hiranyamaya or the Brahman, Brahma Swarupa. This is a journey towards the Shreyasa towards the Shreyasa. This is a gradations. When the journey starts from pleasure to from the worldly pleasure towards the moksha, this experiences goes on changing. When we are experiencing the Annamaya Kosha, Pranamaya Kosha, Manomaya Kosha, we are in the prayasa, worldly pleasures and worldly lives. When the journey starts towards the discriminative power, Viveka Vijnana Vairagya, that is a Vijnanamaya Kosha, and towards the bliss experience of the Annamaya Kosha, the experiences of the happiness goes beyond that materialistic enjoyment. That is the journey towards the Shreyasa, and this journey gives us the gradation of happiness. So in that happiness gradation, what it is given over there, it says that imagine a person who is a prime in his life. He is youth, strong, energetic, intellect, knowledgeable, and he has entire world reaches in front of him. He is a master of everything. Imagine how happy he is. This is the one unit of human happiness. The person who is having such all the things, his happiness is a one unit of human happiness, that is called as a Manusha Ananda. If you multiply this one unit of happiness, Manusha Ananda, with 100, that will be the one unit of happiness of the Gandharva Ananda. And so on, go on multiplying it by the 100, that will be the one unit of happiness of the next Ananda, that is a Deva Gandharva, and so on. So this happiness, the gradation of the happiness goes on by multiplying 100 and 100 and 100. The important thing is that a person can experience all this highest happiness in this life only, with the help of tapasa and vairagya, hard work and freeing from the desires, by getting the real knowledge of the Vedas. When the person experiences his existence at the gross level to subtle level, Annamaya to Pranamaya, Pranamaya to Manomaya, Manomaya to Vijnanamaya, and Vijnanamaya to Anandamaya Kosh, by gaining spiritual maturity, the journey towards the self-realization from prayasa to shreyas, then these levels of ananda, happiness gradation, start increasing. He can experience the higher and higher grade of ananda. This is the given by the Ananda Mimamsa. The next one, the last chapter in this topic was the Bhruguvalli. Bhrugu asked his Varuna, his father, teach me about the Brahman. What is a Brahman? The Varuna explained him that that is a Brahman is the such thing. Everything starts from the Brahman and ends at the Brahman. Everything comes into the existence with the Brahman and ends in the Brahman only. So how can you experience it? So Varuna says, go for the meditation and then you can experience it. So Bhrigu meditates and try to understand. Bhrigu experience everything. After the meditation, his own efforts, he experiences all these levels of the Ananda and his existence. So message is that we have to work hard. We have to go for the tapashcharya on the right way with the right manner and then experience the self at the Brahman. Self or the Brahman, everything, whatever we have to experience it, the own efforts are very important. Not just reading the books or not just listening about it. Nobody can experience that happiness or Ananda Mimamsa or the real existence that is from the Anandamaya Kosha. So for that, one has to meditate, one has to take a practice, one has to take a efforts for it. That was the take home message given by the Bhrigu. So this is all about the Taittiriya Upanishad. So today we have discussed in short the yoga concepts given are from the Prashna Upanishad, Katha Upanishad and Taittiriya Upanishad. So thank you everyone and Hari Om.